Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. I have with me in the room, well, you know who it is, the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, BERMANE STIVERNE. Did I get BERMANE? Well, I got it right.
They called me BERMANE once. I think it was
No, I
Jim
don't
Limpley.
call you that.
I
I'm
think it
not
was
going to call you that.
Jim Limpley. Called me BERMANE.
BERMANE, how did you respond to that?
I got used to it
Interesting.
over the
So,
years.
how are you feeling? How are things with the
It's
lockdown?
okay.
How's lockdown with you?
Uh, right before it, I was right in it. I was in the middle of it. I was getting ready for the 18th of April. I was so glad. I was happy. I was
You're
working,
breaking, champ. Your connection's breaking up, and you're in slow motion.
and then out of nowhere, boom!
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The world is on.
Yeah, your connection's really slow, and you're looking like a Chinese movie. So you're talking, and then the words are coming afterwards. So your connection's kind of slow. I don't know why. Yeah, it's lagging a bit. Let's push on and see if we can see what happens with it. So
Let me try
April the
something.
18th. Okay, yeah,
What
you're behind.
about now?
Let's try now. Let's see. So you're saying April the 18th? It's still delayed. Yeah, you're still
Yes.
delayed. You're still delayed. Yeah, there's a delay. Because I'm saying something and your reaction isn't. You're out of sync. Yeah, everything's in slow motion. Is there anything you can do? Yeah, that's
Is that
better.
any better?
That's better. Yeah, it's much better.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll continue. So April the 18th was the date you had.
Yes, sir.
What was going on with that? What happened? Obviously, you had the lockdown, right?
Well, the lockdown. It was going great. Everything was going great. Camp was going great, and then
You could put
you
your
know,
camera up just a touch because you kind of this way up. Perfect. Go ahead now. Fabulous.
so it was. I don't. I think everybody is going through it right now. So you know, this lockdown is messing up a lot of people and you know everybody basically.
So, as a fighter, how do you? This is something that I guess you've never had to deal with in your career. Oh, have you gone? Is he there? It's probably a telephone call that's come through. I can guarantee it's a telephone call. We'll have to wait a second. Bear with us. We'll get BERMANE back in a moment. I think he's coming back with us now. Because we've got sound.
Am I
It's a
back?
black screen. No, you just got a black screen.
1 second.
Go out and come back in, I think. Bear with us as we wait for BERMANE STIVERNE to come back into the channel. Everything is live at the moment. So just waiting for the champ to come back in the house. I think we've got him here. Right. So we were
I
saying,
guess I'm back now. Yes, sir.
yeah. So April the 18th, we're talking about the date and the lockdown that obviously is happening now. How does that affect you as a fighter now? Because I guess you never in your career have you had to deal with this sort of a situation.
I mean, it doesn't. To me personally, it doesn't really affect me too much. All my career, I had to postpone fights and stuff like that, so it doesn't really affect me. Um, disappointed. Yes, I am. I'm only disappointed because I actually had a date uh, to go on and to see that I have no say or anybody got to say about the date. Because of the pandemic that's going on right now.
So who are you going to be fighting April 18th? Can you disclose that now, or is that just
Somebody.
it was somebody? It wasn't anybody. It was somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
Was it just a comeback fight? Was it just a warm up, or was it something that we could?
It was a comeback fight with a decent name,
Okay,
a major name, so that would have probably helped me out.
that was a major name.
Yeah.
Well, that don't help, does it? Because
So
we're all looking forward to seeing you get back in the ring. Everyone's asking, when's Taverne coming back in the ring? When's he come back to fight? Is he fighting again? I said, well, I don't know who's going to come back first. Jesus Christ or BERMANE STIVERNE. I'm not sure who's going to come back first.
fine. So
I was gonna, I was gonna hit you with that lyric eventually.
funny, very funny, very funny, very funny.
It's good, huh? It's a good way. Even you're
I
smiling.
get you one. I get you back. I will get you back.
No, in all seriousness, I mean, it must be frustrating because you've had all these injuries and these postponement of fights, and then you've got this situation now where you're good, you're ready to go, and then the world decides to lock down on you, and like you can't fight now.
I mean, it's not so much of a disappointment since the world is locked down. It's not really as hard as if you had a fight and the opponent didn't show up or the opponent got injured, so everybody else fight, but you don't fight. It's not as hard as now everybody is just on lockdown, so it's not
Okay,
really hard. It's not. You know, everybody's in the same on the same boat as me.
so I spoke to Stacey McKinley earlier on, about half an hour ago. I spoke to him. Now, in my thinking, I'm thinking all the fighters should be looking at their fights and looking at how they can improve as being a fighter and do all these things to be better fighters when the lockdown is over. He's sitting there and telling me, no, majority of these fighters are going to be out of shape and they're going to be mentally, some of them are going to be broken. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I can't speak for other fighters, but I mean, I don't think so. Um, I would have to disagree.
Okay.
I don't think it depends on who it is. Um, right now, all we have is time. You know, There's some kind of probation, house arrest. I mean, you could. There's a lot of things that you could do. You know, um, uh, no, it's not really. I don't really agree with what he said.
Okay,
It's really up. It's really up to you.
so for you, what are you going to do during the lockdown? Are you going to sit down and watch old fights that you've had before and see how you can improve on your career, or you know it already and it ain't? What is it for you?
I'm still working out. You know. You know. God has put people like around me that own businesses or gyms and allow me to be the only one in the gym. So you know, I can only say thank you. You know, so I have no excuse but that I can't stay home. I can't say that the gym is not open. Like I said, I have friends that I know that are willing to open for a few hours. You know, so I can get my workout in. And then when it comes to running is everybody got access to running. You know,
I
that's a
just don't-
that's a 24/7 no excuse. That's available for everybody.
Now the running. Now I spoke to different people about it. I spoke to Aji Chilimbe. He said that running is essential for a fighter. There are other trainers and other fighters that don't run and don't think it's essential. What's your take on it?
I believe running is the key. You know, once you put the miles in. Personally speaking, for me, I mean, when I run and I keep running, you know, I feel nothing but good. You know, and I think running is one of the major workouts that you can do.
Okay, as you're an international man, uh, Haiti, of the Canada and America, how has that impacted you? The lockdown in terms of communication with family and friends and loved ones. How's that been for yourself?
Like anybody else, you know, anybody that's close to their family, and you know, it really it's not really pleasant to be in control or you know not be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So you know, it affects. I think everybody that's affected by this pandemic is really going through it. You know,
You know, there's
so
a couple of fighters have got it now as well. Does that does that do you do you think about your own life in that way? Because the fighters now that have got this COVID as well now, Derek Jefferson being one heavyweight that's got it. Um, does that
yeah,
do you,
I heard a few fighters were affected by it. So I mean, me, you know, of course, I limit my in and out of the house. You know, boosting my immune system is important. You know, not just stay home. You know, and wash my hands, but I also take what's necessary to boost my system to fight any kind of bacteria or virus out there.
okay? That's a
And
good
it's
thing.
all and it's also the a good time to clean the food and be very cautious. You know,
You still tucking into that nice chicken, or are you thinking twice about it now?
excuse me.
Are you still tucking into that chicken, or are you thinking twice about it now?
Depends how I feel. Depends how I feel. You know how it is when growing up in the island
I know, I
family.
know.
They got all kinds of remedy.
I've had
Boil this and boil that, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
trust
Ambush
me,
this, ambush that. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Well,
Every morning, every morning, everybody got their own recipe. I got my
salsa,
own recipe.
salsa, turmeric, cayenne pepper, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of stuff.
The
So
leaves.
yeah, exactly. My dad and my sister are locked down in Grenada at the moment, so they're understanding what life is like over there now. The tourist camp's over. They're coming to understand what it's really like to live on the island.
Right,
Lockdown.
right.
So let's talk. Deontay Wilder. What did you make of the costume, the fight, the result?
I mean, I was wrong. I thought that he was. I thought that Fury had, I don't know, some kind of deja vu when it comes to the first fight.
Yes.
But Fury came out like like a caveman, you know. And also, it was time for him to get a taste of his own medicine. Hitting people behind the head. He got one behind the head, so now you know how he feels.
So watching all of that and watching Wilder literally unravel before your eyes, uh, were you watching with disbelief, or were you watching with, yeah, this was bound to happen eventually?
Well, it was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. I don't even know why he pursued the rematch. If I were him, I wouldn't. You know, there's I don't know. Even though I thought he was going to win, the second rematch, it's not a fight that I would pursue if I didn't have to.
Again, talking to Stacey McKinley, he says that the only way Wilder's going to beat Fury is if he gets his fundamentals right, one, and most importantly, goes and sees a psychologist. He thinks the excuses with the referee and the glove and the costume, he said,
Horseshit.
yes, basically.
I
And
don't
he
know.
needs
Yeah,
to be mentally smart.
there's fighters that has your number. We have seen it throughout the years, like Vernon Forrest and Mosley.
Mosley.
Mosley would never beat Forrest in his worst day. There's other fighters
De La
that they
Hoya will
fought
never
like
beat
two,
Mosley.
yeah, there's like two, three times. They fought two, three times, and it went one way. And this is one kind of it. It's not even about you know firing your coach or bringing somebody else, or it's not even about that. It's just that there's just fighters that you just can't beat, or you got to go around it.
But Fury made the adjustments where Wilder looked to has just been doing the same thing again.
Well, Fury was just being Fury. I didn't see anything change in Fury. Fury is a big dude, a huge fighter that fight just like a middleweight, like a welterweight.
Yeah.
He's very slick, very you know, he knows what he's doing. Moving good, and he boxes real good. And this is what, on top of being bigger than Wilder, taller than Wilder, and having more skills than Wilder. It's not a fight. It's not a matter of Wilder should be doing this and that. It's just Fury is just better at what he
That's
does.
it. There's
Just
no
like Fury, just like Fury could fight somebody else and look like shit because it's because of that kind of fighter that the other person is. It's some fighters just got your number, man. It doesn't matter how many times you switch trainer or you practice this and that. It doesn't matter really.
but doesn't game plan come into it and fundamentals? I mean,
Nah.
Fury went. Fury changed his style. Fury came with a rematch. He came straight out Wilder. Before he was behind, dancing behind and slick on all this stuff. This time he took the fight to Wilder. Wilder boxed the same way. So Fury took the fight to Wilder, forced Wilder onto the back foot, and negated a lot
No,
of that power.
the only thing that I believe that Fury did was being a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I think he did change. He fought the same fight, jabbing, going around, and shoulder will roll, and you know, bobbing and weaving and all that. He fought the same fight that he always do, but he was a little more aggressive. So I was a little surprised.
What did you make of the after talk of the costume? First of all, what did you make of the talk of the costume?
Horse shit.
Okay, put that to one side. The glove, Fury's
Horse shit.
glove.
What was the story about the gloves?
The glove. It was there's something wrong with the glove. It wasn't. He cheated. Fury cheated because when he threw the punch, there was some stuff he
Of
could
course,
see in the glove.
of course he cheated. Of course. There's always something. There, there's always something. When it comes to somebody losing the fight, there's always an excuse somewhere that the fighter, you know, I don't know. The glove ain't got nothing to do with it. It was a world class fight. So when you speak like that, I think you attacking the athletic commission. Talking about
There
the
was some
gloves
story.
or
I know there was somebody else came up with a story that how they switched off. They switched off the camera when it was in Fury's dressing room, and that's where he changed gloves. Some stuff like that come up. We heard that story as well, didn't we?
yeah. Listen, a loss is a loss.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. You just
Uh,
gotta go back. You just gotta go back home with your tail between your legs and go back to the gym and try again.
uh, if you're fighting a guy and he's on top of you and he's beating you, right? And he's outmatching you, and he licks the blood off of your neck,
Uh huh.
what does that tell you?
Yeah. Can you repeat that?
The guy's he's beating you up and he's licking the blood off of your neck. What does that tell you?
I mean, there's a lot of things that you do at the moment, and it's just because it's at the moment. It's not really. I don't know. I wouldn't have done something like that, but every fighter is different.
But if a fighter did that to you, what would you do?
What's there to do?
Doesn't that mess with your head?
Nah, I don't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. Very quickly, two more fights. Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois. Who wins?
I don't know. What's his name?
Dubois.
I don't know. I don't know Dubois. I don't know who he is. I never really heard of him.
Uh,
So
White versus Povetkin.
White versus Povetkin. I don't. I don't know. Shit. Now who I want to win and who is going to win is two different things.
Okay, I think I know who you want to win, but you really think he can
White,
win?
of course.
But I know, but you really think that he can win?
No. Let me repeat myself.
Who you
Who I
want
want,
to win and
is
who you
different
think
from
will
who I
win?
think will. Yeah,
Well, based on your predictions previously, I think we'll go with the person who you think will win will win.
Povetkin.
No, that
You
means
said
that
White.
that means White's going to win the fight then, because your prediction never come out right.
Hold on. Good.
I said
What's the question?
whom you want to win, as opposed to who you think will win, I said,
Yeah.
well, whom you thought will win in the past hasn't ended up right. So who you would like to win is going
No,
to be the real person.
who I who I thought would in the past was me going against Fury. That's what it was. Me going against Fury, and this is something I won't be doing anymore. I'm not going against Fury no more. I know
You're
I'm
never
saying
going
in
to
the past,
get you learned your lesson.
but what do you think?
Oh, no, I'm not going to get. Listen, I went on air and I said that Wilder's going to beat the crap out of Fury. I believed it after I saw the weigh in. I thought, no, he's going to get the crap beaten out of him. And then Fury, when they did that, I was so embarrassed.
I
So
mean, it's so. What's your take on White and Povetkin?
he just better not get clipped in an exchange like the way he's been getting clipped in exchanges with Oscar Rivas and Joseph Parker.
Mm,
And
I think
actually,
he did.
Povetkin's
I
a better
think he.
fighter than both of them guys.
I think White could get it.
I think so.
I think so. At this point,
Povetkin's career.
look at Povetkin here. I think he can get it.
I thought that when he fought Michael Hunter, but then he just pulled up another performance. I thought, oh boy.
Well, I think it's possible that highly possible that Dylan wins the fight.
Oh, I do have a question to ask you. Would you ever consider fighting in South Africa if the money was right? Would you consider fighting in South Africa in a heavyweight tournament
Mm,
in the future?
I don't know.
Let's say one night of
I
heavyweight
I
boxing.
I
With,
listen. It's one thing about me. I hate traveling overseas. I absolutely hate it.
so you
But
like,
once I get there, I get there. You know what I'm saying?
but
You
to
know,
fight, but to okay, to fight in Africa.
for what? For what what would be the
I don't
you
know, a
said
big
tournament?
fight like in Zaire, like a boxing tournament. They were launching something in South Africa or in Africa, and they said, you know what, in Zaire, we were doing something for Zaire, and we'd like former heavyweight champions to come and fight on this card. Would you do it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, just asking.
I would.
You would
It would be my first option, but I would. Why not?
to fight in Africa?
I would. I was boy. Like I said, I like traveling, and when travel is really long, I hate that. I really do. I really do.
But
But
once
I
you're
would.
there,
Well, once I'm there, is once I'm there, I'm there. You know.
okay,
But
all right.
it's not something. I know it's a trick question.
No, there's no trick. Absolutely no trick. I'm absolutely
Mhm.
no trick. It was
We'll talk about it off. We'll talk about it off record.
that sounds
I,
good.
I, that's probably a reason why you asked me this.
You know me too well now. You know me too well. You know me too well. You know me too well now. But no trick. Honestly, no trick.
All right.
Hands up. Champ, as a pleasure. It's always great talking with you. Probably our shortest interview ever. But there we go. It's locked down with BERMANE STIVERNE.
It's the lockdown.
Champ, is there anything you want to say before we go?
I mean, hopefully everybody is safe out there. You know what they say. Stay home and wash your hands. But also, be cautious. I hope everybody is boosting their system. Eating what's right. You know, just be smart out there. Stay out of trouble. Be smart and take precautions.
BERMANE STIVERNE, as always, thank you, chap, for being a part of BWTM Sports, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Pleasure.
Okay, 3.